Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to start off by giving all praises and blessings to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect men pushing this word in truth and in sincerity, risking life and livelihood in so doing. Shalom to the women and to the children who watch and who learn from these lessons. All right. The name of this lesson, all right, will be PSA, Hebrew Israelite PSA. Okay, it's going to be a quick video, going in the spirit, because I believe that this, should be known. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. Okay, because the scripture, all right, roughly paraphrasing the scripture, it says, "And the blind shall lead the blind." If the blind will lead the blind, all right, then they shall both go into a ditch, all right, or they both falleth into a ditch, all right. And as we look at the Hebrew Israelite people, our people, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the curses, okay, at one point in time, you had, Israelites on top, and then we were down, okay, and then you had the Edomites who came on top, okay, during the Roman, okay, the Roman Greco period, okay, and then they went down. They went into a ditch, okay, being forced into Europe away from civilization, okay. And there are books that you could read that supports this. Now, there's countless books that you could read that supports it, okay. So and that's the meaning of, and that's the reason for this video, because although you may get Hebrew Israelites who tell you parts of the truth, they may tell you parts of the truth. You have again, Hebrew Israelites are your identity. That's your culture. That's your ethnicity. Okay? That's your ethnicity. Okay? You have people who have stolen your identity or ethnicity in the world who are calling themselves Jews, all right? They call themselves Jewish, all right? So, we are in a ditch, our people. You're in a ditch because your leaders, okay, have failed. Okay, they've learned, okay, they've learned how to play this game. Now, I grew up here in Chicago, all right, and Salakia. I grew up in Chicago, and one of my earliest memories, I remember when I used to go visit my grandmother, okay? She stayed, not really the west side, but I guess you could say the west side. It would be, kind of considered west side by Roosevelt, okay? Uh, Roosevelt kind of separates South and West, so she stayed just a little bit. Uh, I guess you could say it was, Southwest, all right. Uh, and there used to be a section of the city there when she lived there. Okay, this is when you had open markets. Okay, uh, there were a lot of Germans, a lot of Polish people who lived, a lot of Jewish people, Italians who lived, in the vicinity of so-called blacks. All right, it's not as segregated as it is now. Segregation and the advantage of so-called whites have reached such a height that now you have animals that are in the city, and I'm jumping, but giving you a bigger picture. But now you have animals in the city of Chicago that were never here. Okay, I've lived in Chicago my whole life, and there were never raccoons or deer or opossums, okay, running as rampant as they are now. And the reason of that is because all of this development. These Edomites, they're trying to, as the scripture says, okay, they're trying to get as far as away while still using Jake, while still using you, all right, spitting in your face. But they're trying to still get as far as way away from you. But, the farther out they go out and destroy forests where these animals live. And which, and Esau's nasty. He's a nasty individual to be around. Even nature hates him. So, it's remarkable that, these animals, you see them in the hood, man. Okay? Because it's safer for them, and you see it, man. Little girls and little, boys, man, they got little pet raccoons, man. You go over to Chick House, man, the little kids got little baby raccoons and little baby opossums, man. You be ready to get the hell out of there. All right? But these Edomites, they went out, even farther, all right? And they're destroying the forests, okay, wherever they go, trying to get away from Jake, okay, because a Jake who has been led into a ditch by his blind leader, okay, he's a problem. And now they're beginning to see that. You see that with the police. All of these videos with these young Jakes, they're, facing off with the police. We didn't do that when we were younger, man. Okay? These younger Jakes that are raised by, single mothers. See, all of this is part of that 3-card Monty, all right? And like I was saying, like I was trying to explain, this was a game that I was, introduced to as a young child. Man, I had to be about 7 or 8, okay? When, when Jewtown, okay? Look it up. Google it. Jewtown here in Chicago, okay? And Jewtown was a place, it's like, was it Jewelers Row in New York? I believe it's Jewelers Row. It's like a place that they have in New York now. But Jewtown would be a place on Roosevelt. It's where you get the Maxwell Street Polish. All right, I had an original Maxwell Street Polish, and all of that, hamburgers and hot dogs when I was younger. All right, the originals. All right, but anyway. And there's no telling what they were putting in it then, because, the Italians, really owned it. But I don't know. But anyway, there was a game that a lot of these, guys from the Henry Horner homes, which were projects, and certain projects in the city. They would come down to Jewtown, all right, because you come down to Jewtown, and the thing was, you would try to Jew, okay, the merchant. Look at that. There's a white coyote. Look at that, a white coyote, man. But anyway, they would try to Jew down, okay? That's why it's called Jewtown, because you would Jew, all right, try to get the cheapest price for the best product, clothes or suits, all right. Well, this guy Don Juan, he's such a fresh dresser because of the suits that he wore, okay, that he was able to get from Jewtown, all right, shopping down at Jewtown. And there's a little, I still go down, on Roosevelt to get little items, all right, little clothes that people don't get, all right. But there used to be a lot of scammers. I remember, man. Even then, Jake was shooting. All right. The first time I seen someone get shot, okay, in real life was at Jewtown. All right. A gang of guys, selling fake chains. All right. And they turned it to gunfire. All right. Somebody shot them. But one of the games that they played was 3-card Monte, all right? That was a popular game then, and you go down there with your auntie, and then, they'll say, hey, somebody give you some money, then you go down there like, oh, I'm about to win all this money because, and this is, let me explain to you what 3-card Monte is, all right? It says, in its full form, 3-card Monte is an example of a classic short con in which a shield pretends to conspire with the mark to cheat the dealer, while in fact doing the reverse. The mark has no chance whatsoever of winning at any point in the game, because you'll have some people there who are acting like, they're dumbfounded, okay? You're looking like, oh, these are the dumbest people in the world, okay? They're losing all their money, but in fact, they're all together, okay? They're all together. And so, in this Hebrew Israelite walk, all right, you have men who are being exposed, okay, as 3-card Monte players, okay, and they're going into a ditch, and they're leading you into a ditch, okay, they're leading you into a ditch. There's nothing, the doctrine of Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rachah HaKodash, it's flawless, okay, but it's you, okay, the mark. A lot of y'all is marks, okay? That's a word that they use on the West Coast, okay? A lot of you are marks, man, okay? You're simple as hell, man. And that's why you have leaders who lead you, man. Okay, this guy, Alizé, man, man, okay? The G unit or whatever the fucking Mason Hebrew Israelites. We're warning you about these individuals, and you're still keeping company with them. And it's your money. You can send your money to. It's your money. You work for it. Okay. I don't care, brother. If he needs it that bad, I'll give it to him. And that money could have went to something else. All right. Yes, there's a scripture that says, if someone tries to take your coat, then yeah, we understand that, we get that. All right. But just being totally stupid, totally dumbfounded, man. All right. And you're bringing other people into subjection of these antics, man. All right, of these clowns, like the Alizé, or the you know him as high priest. Okay, that's what you know him as. Okay, but hey, these people, and in this truth, they're popping up out of nowhere. Okay, and their thing is fortune and fame. Fortune and fame. All right. So again, all right. Hey, we don't want to hear you crying. Okay, running and making videos. Oh, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite no more because. Okay, we don't want to hear that. All right, we don't want to hear that, man. Okay, because ultimately it's the Lord who have allowed you to be taken by a person with that kind of spirit. Yeah, and you've been warned. All right, you've been warned. So with that being said, Lord willing, you were edified. Till next time, this is just a PSA. All right. As the scripture says, man, study to show thyself approved. Okay. If you're studying, you don't, you need apostles and elders, but you're following anybody. You're just following anybody. You women are goddamn imbeciles, man. You women are fucking imbeciles, man. Oh, well, I'm just not gonna. Well, just get the hell on, man. Get your head. We don't need you to comment. Get the hell on, man. So anyway, I just had to bring that out, man. Till next time, shalom.